Hello, welcome back to Hidden Gems. My name is Arden Thomas. I'm the Cincom Smalltalk product manager. Hidden Gems is where we show you capabilities of the product that you may not be aware of, but we think you will benefit from. Today's Hidden Gems screencast is on SQLite and Store. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, please send them to myself, Arden Thomas, at athomas@cincom.com. So today we'll be talking about SQLite and Store. First, what is SQLite and Store, if you're not familiar? SQLite is a lightweight relational database. It's small, fast, reliable. It's used in a number of applications as an embedded database. So it's small, fast, and useful. And it writes to a file that you can easily transport. So Store, as you may well know, is our source code management system. So you can use Store to write your packages, and you can use them to write to a SQLite database file, then move that to another machine, give it to a peer or someone you work with, and they can load in your code through this mechanism. It's a very convenient mechanism. You can also use it to back up your regular Store database. So we're going to show you some installation tips for SQLite, how to install Store for SQLite, and then we'll show you how to create a database file, write to that file, and read it in to another image. As with a lot of things we cover in Hidden Gems, this is easy once you know how, which is part of the value of Hidden Gems. And this was certainly the case with this. I have some installation tips. I had a tricky time at first following some of the SQLite directions. There's a lot of extra things that you don't need to do for what we're going to do here. And a quick hat tip to Neil Ross, who gave me some tips to make this small and simple. And again, it's small and simple once you know how. So let's get started. The first thing you'll need to do is go to SQLite.org, go to their download page. I'm going to demonstrate this on Windows. I'm on a Windows 10 platform here. Look for precompiled binaries for Windows. They have 32 and 64-bit solutions. You'll only need the 64-bit if you're using a 64-bit image. If not, stick with the 32. You'll download this, unzip it, and you'll find a DLL file. For the 32-bit image, put that in the syswow64. For the 64-bit DLL, put it right here. And that is basically the entire installation for how we're going to use it. Next, you want to install Store for SQLite 3. You can simply come to System Pull Down, type in Store for SQLite 3. You'll click on that and say OK. That will install it, which I've already done. The next tip is that you don't need to go through SQLite and create a database. You can do that right here. I've saved this profile. You'll come in here. You'll make sure a SQLite 3 connection is chosen. You'll put in a username. You can use anything. Store requires it. No password is required. Table owner, just leave that as the default. So to create a SQLite database file, click on Browse Files. I've done some before here. I'm going to say test, call it test 5. Now notice, I think you can use any extension. It's looking for SQLite, so we'll use that standard. test5.sqlite, open. Okay, it's now basically ready to create that. I can save that. I'll call this SQLite D. saved it so I can find it again in the future. Connect. Okay, so now it wants to create this database. And the store tables are not there. Do I want to install them? Yes. I'll call this test5, my unique name. Do we need to be compatible with VisualWorks 7.6 and earlier? No. Of course, you'll choose yes if that's what you need. Install management policies. I don't believe this works with SQLite, so I'm going to say no. It tells you how to come back and install them later if you need to. So okay, so now I am connected to, I've created a SQLite 3 database file, and I can write to it. So let's do that. Let me come to some of my packages here, like things we've covered before in hidden gems, like domain master. I want to note where I've loaded this from my store. It's 1.0.16. I'm going to right click on this and say publish, and I'm going to use the same version number to keep things consistent and publish that. I've now published that to my SQLite file. Let's do some more things. Let's do stock domain, publish 1.0.3, done. Stock data, publish 1.0.1, stock chart, publish 1.0.3, stock apps, publish 1.0.6. Okay, so I've written a bunch. Let's do one more for good measure. Publish 1.0.6. So I've now published a bunch of my packages, hidden gems packages. I can disconnect from this. Now I'm going to open up another image and we'll get started seeing how we can load all this in from that database file. Okay, so what I've done here, I've started a visual.im file, saved it as SQLite test5. So this is essentially a blank image. Let's load store for SQLite 3, which will load up. Store, connect to repository, SQLite 3 connection, type in your username, and now let's go browse files. There's my test5.SQLite. Going to connect to that. Now let's look at published items, and there they are. Okay, domain master, I'm going to click on that, right click, load it. Let's just do them in order. Load. So we are loading all the things that we wrote. And now let's go and check those out. Here's my domain master. As we can see, all the code is here. My, say, stock domain, all this information, all the code is right here. Okay, so what we've done is we've installed SQLite 3. We have created a SQLite database. We wrote a number of our packages to it. Then we started from another image, loaded store for SQLite, and loaded all the things in. So that creates a single file. Here we can see the SQLite files I've created. It's a total of 868K. And now I can take this file and I can use this file as a backup of that work, Or say, for example, I want to give this to you to load for Hidden Gems examples, and you can load store for SQLite into your image and then load all the packages from this file. So again, it's a really useful means to transport packages or backup packages. So that's SQLite and store. I hope you found the tips and the actual simplicity of doing this. And again, this is easy once you know how. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, please send them to atomus@cincom.com. Until next time, have a great time with Cincom Smalltalk. Thank you.